Hey guys, in today's video we're going to be talking about the Uzi. This is one of the more just forgettable weapons in Warzone. No one really talks about this weapon or uses it much at all aside from the floor loot. So I made a loadout with this weapon that is actually pretty usable in Warzone. If you guys do find this video helpful or informative, remember to give it a like, subscribe if you would like to see more. Comment down below what you think of this Uzi loadout and what gun you would like to see me make a video on next. So just the base Uzi on its own without any attachments is basically just like a middling SMG in pretty much every category. It doesn't have that great mag capacity, has about an average fire rate. It has pretty good damage over range, but it's nothing like super spectacular with the base Uzi. But when you put on the AE rounds, which are a damage modification or a ammo modification for this weapon, you get extra damage and extra damage range. So you kind of like double down on the one strength that the Uzi kind of had in the first place. And it does separate it from the rest of the submachine guns in this game. It becomes a high damage SMG that can actually compete with the MP5 in some ranges, but we'll get to that later on. So we're going to be using the AE rounds with this loadout. We're also going to be using monolithic suppressor, Merc foregrip, tack laser, and stippled grip tape. Stippled grip tape is the most expendable attachment in this loadout. You could use something like sleight of hand or a barrel attachment depending on what else you use this weapon with. But since I'm using it with an assault rifle in this video, I don't need the most range out of it. If you were going to use it with something like a sniper, then adding one of those longer barrels and getting even more range out of this Uzi would probably be the way to go. But since I'm just using it as an SMG, I wanted to get my handling as fast as possible, and I didn't really need the added damage. Because just with the AE rounds and monolithic suppressor, no barrel, the first drop-off for this weapon happens at 20 meters, which is pretty good for some machine guns. So I found that just to be fine and that I didn't need to put on the added barrels. Compared to the MP5, it actually does compete past 10 meters. Prior to 10 meters, like 10 meters and closer, the MP5 blows the Uzi out of the water. It cannot compete really at all. It's almost double the time to kill. It's really crazy. But past 10 meters, the Uzi is better or tied with the MP5. So it's a little bit more consistent at range. It's just not really good up close. That's what kind of makes it combo well with a sniper if you did want to use an SMG with a sniper, since it has that extra range. I also feel like this could be good in duos or trios or squads. If you're someone who plays a little bit more passive than your teammates, if you're just storming buildings and running at people, the MP5 is probably the way to go. But if you end up playing a little bit more passive and a lot of your fights are more medium-ish range, this could be a really good submachine gun for you because, like I just said, it does compete with the Uzi, or with the MP5 past 10 meters. Right here, I'll have a damage chart from True Game Data. Their website will be linked down in the description below if you want to play around with it. It's a great resource for just anything Warzone stats. And as you'll see, like I said, prior to 10 meters, the Uzi cannot compete with the MP5. Past 10 meters, it really can, and it's usually better or tied with it up until about 48 meters, which you're not going to be using an SMG at that range anyways. I feel like past 30 meters, you're really not going to be using it. So 10 meters and on, the Uzi is better or tied with the MP5, and it is a really solid weapon. One of the things that's holding this weapon back, though, especially when compared to the MP5, is how consistent the MP5's damage is, regardless of where you're shooting the opponent. You'll see on the DPS chart here, when I go from chest to stomach shots or extremities shots, the Uzi's damage falls off really hard, whereas the MP5 keeps pretty much the same damage regardless of where on the person you're shooting, which is what makes it such a good weapon for pushing into a building and just storming an opponent, jumping at people, hip firing. It doesn't really matter where you shoot people with the MP5. It does pretty much the same damage all the time. The Uzi, you want to be hitting upper chest all the time. If you're hitting lower chest, your time to kill is not ideal. You need to be hitting upper chest. You don't want to be hitting extremities. Upper chest is what you need to do with the Uzi, so it really rewards good aim. If you have good, consistent aim, you can kill pretty fast with the Uzi with AE rounds. If you don't have consistently good aim, it's probably going to be a hard weapon for you to use because of how inconsistent the damage is depending on where you're shooting the opponent. And also the fire rate of this weapon is lower than the MP5, so missed shots are going to be more of a burden on your time to kill with the Uzi than the MP5 just because you're putting out shots slower. Another thing that people don't like about the AE Uzi is the mag count. So you're stuck at 32 rounds. A lot of people like 45 on their SMGs, 50, 60. Everyone always wants the higher mags, and Sure, more ammo is nice, but if you're using a weapon that shoots slower and kills a little bit faster at ranges, then I feel like the ammo count isn't the biggest deal. You could take off stippled grip tape and put on sleight of hand like I said before, but I feel like you're probably getting a similar amount of value with an Uzi mag as you are like a MP5 with 45 round mag, just because the gun does do more damage and shoot a little bit slower, so you're probably going to be wasting less bullets. It's like the same thing with the AMAX. It has 45 rounds compared to like the Kilo's 60, but since you're killing people faster more often than not, like you're doing more damage per bullet, it's almost like you get the same amount of value out of the lower mag, if that makes any sense. So 32 rounds isn't ideal, but I don't think it's the biggest drawback on this weapon when you consider how fast the reload can be with sleight of hand and how much more consistent your damage is over range. You have a very similar time to kill pretty much all the time with the AE Uzi. And if you were going to combo a submachine gun with a sniper, I think the AE Uzi is one of the better choices. I'd probably take the MP7 over it, but the AE Uzi would probably be second. I would rather have an AE Uzi if I was going to use a sniper SMG combo than having something like the MP5. I typically prefer to run ARs like the M4 or the Ram with my sniper, but if you're someone who likes SMG sniping, then the Uzi could be a good choice for you. I think this gun could also work decently well with an LMG loadout if you get stuck in a situation where you got to use your submachine gun more and you can't necessarily get a reload off with something like the PKM, then the Uzi would be like a better primary replacement than something like the MP5 would, just because it is more consistent over range. So that's going to be it for this video. Let me know what you guys think. I'm going to let the gameplay play out. Comment down below what you think of this Uzi. I'm really interested to see what you guys think. Like I said, I don't think it's gonna like be the dominant SMG over the MP5, but it is something kind of new and fun to play around with that a lot of people won't necessarily be used to. So hope you liked the video, and I'll see you guys another time. Thanks for watching. I mean, I guess we could control this house, but I feel like that's not even really that worth. I don't think this house gets zoned.
Enemy UAV overhead.
These are like the games I don't mind doing extra recons in because there's really nothing to do anyways.
This is Falcon 3-0. Good copy. UAV beginning.
We got recon online.
Falcon 3-0. Good copy.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. Yeah, no one has ghost. But a zone like this, you see how everybody is in promenade? Like, I don't even want to go over there and fight. Like, that's not a good area to fight. It'd be hard to get like isolated kills there.
UAV is out of fuel. Returning to resupply. UAV is out of fuel. Enemy UAV overhead. UAV is out of fuel. Returning to resupply. Final deployment is loading up. Finish the fight. Gas is closing in. Relocating the safe zone. UAV is out of fuel. Returning to resupply.
Alrighty then. We have two opponents. One was just on the radar.
We got recon online.
This is Falcon 3-0. Good copy. This is Falcon
We got
3-0.
recon
Good
online.
copy. This is
The other one
Falcon
has
3-0.
ghost.
Good copy. UAV beginning flyover.
I got the wheel.
You're losing ground.
Do we get a trophy now? They're fighting.
UAV is out of fuel. UAV is out of fuel. UAV is out of fuel. Returning to resupply.
GG's, bud. That's such an easy win there. Run them over, I tried. He dodged it decently well. But, I mean, the Uzi wins it anyways. It's pretty hard for him to win that fight. He was just in another fight with somebody else. Like, that was, like, such a perfect situation.